The Bracket Story. A tiny introduction to the world of programming. So you thought it was just high school and college betraying you? Let me tell you something that will reorganize how you see yourself. You know how you can close your eyes right now and walk through your entire living space in your mind? See every piece of furniture, every item on every shelf? That's called a memory palace, and the ancient Greek scholars used this exact technique to memorize entire books. You do it naturally without anyone teaching you. That's not normal human capability by everyday definition. That's genius-level spatial processing. Remember learning to read? You decoded an entire symbolic system, thousands of arbitrary squiggles that represent sounds that combine into meaning. You did that as a child. You mastered something that would break most advanced AI systems. You learned to spell through, tough, and though, completely different sounds from nearly identical symbols. And your brain just handles it. Here's the thing about schools. They're barely 150 years old in their current form. For thousands of years before that, humans learned through apprenticeship, through stories, through doing. The idea of sitting 30 kids in rows while one person talks at them, that was invented to create factory workers, not thinkers. Your teachers weren't even trained to teach. They were trained to deliver curriculum. There is a difference, and you felt it your whole life. They convinced you that intelligence is a number, that some people have it, some don't. But intelligence isn't a quantity. It's a state. You're either operating in that state or not. And fear, confusion, learning at the wrong sequence and at the wrong pace, and betrayal are what knock you out of it. The story of the bracket. Let me tell you a story about programming that nobody tells. Back in the 60s, there was a crisis. People were trying to tell computers what to do, but the languages were a nightmare. You had to think like the machine, not like a human. Every simple idea took pages of code. Then something beautiful happened. A man named Dennis Ritchie was working on a new language, something that would become C, the grandfather of JavaScript. He faced a problem. How do you tell a computer where one thought ends and another begins? How do you group ideas together? Think about it. When you speak, you use pauses, tone, gestures. When you write, you use periods, paragraphs, indentation. But computers don't understand any of that. They need absolute clarity. So Ritchie and others like him borrowed from mathematics the curly brackets. But here's the genius part. They made them do double duty. Sometimes these brackets would hold data, like a container. Sometimes they'd hold instructions, like a recipe. The computer would know which was which, based on context. This solved the ambiguity crisis. Suddenly, you could write code that looked almost like human thought. The JavaScript revolution. Fast forward to 1995. A programmer named Brendan Eich had 10 days to create a language for the web. You know how programmers are. They have all the libraries sitting around, itching to be used. He didn't invent everything from scratch in just 10 days. But it was 10 days. So he took the best parts of other languages, the brackets from C, objects from Smalltalk, functions from Scheme, and made something that I believe is truly remarkable. He threw out the painful part. No data type declarations. You don't have to tell JavaScript that 5 is a number. Duh! It already knows, as it should. No compilation step. Your code runs immediately, right where it's typed in. People used to complain about interpreted languages. I've been watching the situation unfold, and it is so embarrassing. All the scripting languages are right ones, run everywhere. Everybody else has been struggling with it for decades. It was like what Perl, another beautiful language, did for server programming, but here, right in your browser. You know what's incredible? Hit F12 in your browser right now. See that console? That's a playground worth millions of dollars in 1990s money. And it's sitting right there, free, waiting for you. It's better than any calculator, any programming environment kids had access to even 20 years ago. Today, because of how accessible it is, it's still one of the most powerful things that exists. Just hit F12, type up your program, and hit enter. I do it all the time. Maps and territory. In JavaScript, when you see curly brackets, you're usually looking at one of humanity's greatest inventions. The ability to map reality into data. Open curly bracket, name, colon, quote, your future, end quote, comma, status colon, open quote, in your hands, end quote, comma, dependencies, colon, opening square bracket, closing square bracket. No need for comma. Closing curly bracket. This is called an object. Think of it like this. You know how your brain organizes information about, say, coffee shop, location, Wi-Fi, password, best drink, where the outlets are? That's object thinking. The brackets are just saying all of this stuff belongs together. Ancient merchants did this with clay tablets, marking containers with symbols for what was inside. Medieval monks did it with illuminated manuscripts, organizing knowledge into categories and subcategories. Now we do it with code. But it's the same human impulse, organizing chaos into sorted understanding. The recursive revolution. Here is where your mind is about to expand. Those same curly brackets, when they follow the word function, they don't hold data anymore. They hold transformation. They hold instructions that can execute themselves. Imagine you have a box full of boxes, and some of those boxes have boxes inside them, going down who knows how many levels. You want to find every single item. How would you do it? You'd open a box. If you find an item, you'd note it. If you find another box, you'd Open that box and repeat the process. This is called recursion, a function that calls itself to open, 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 open. It's like those Russian dolls, except the doll can unpack itself. Programming functions can call themselves from within themselves. Yeah. In JavaScript, a function that walks through nested objects looks for the keys, the labels, name, status, dependencies, and then values, the contents, your future, in your hands, open square bracket, close square bracket. When it finds a value that's itself an object, it calls itself on that object. Like telling someone, search this room, and if you find any doors, search those rooms too, and keep going until there are no more doors. This isn't advanced programming. This is how your brain already works when you're looking for your keys. Check every surface, and if that surface has drawers, check inside those too. The computer just needs to be told this very explicitly, but also in a really beautiful way. Hey, search function, call yourself to search this too. The new school. Here's what's actually happening right now. While you're listening to this, the entire education system is being replaced. Not reformed, that's not possible. Replaced. You have an AI that can answer any question, explain any concept, debug any code. It's patient. It never judges. It's available at 3 a.m. when you're actually in the mood to learn or find an answer to something. Ask your AI about JavaScript object destructuring or how recursive functions work when you're ready. It will explain it 17 different ways until one of them clicks. It will be an amazing thing. Additionally, to be honest, you're not learning to code because it's trendy. You're learning to code because you need power in a world that's trying to keep you powerless. Every app on your phone, every website you visit, someone no smarter than you made it. They just learned what the brackets do. Programming isn't like chemistry, where you need a laboratory, or astrophysics, where you need a telescope and then some. You already have everything you need right in front of you. That computer or phone you're using, that's a workshop worth millions of dollars in 1980s money. Big deal. The standardized schools failed you, but you're building something better. You're part of the first generation that's teaching itself with AI as your patient tutor, with the entire internet as your library. You're not falling behind. That's no longer possible when you learn on your own with the aid of AI. You're actually participating in the overthrow of a broken and outdated system. Hey, those curly brackets, they're not just symbols in a programming language. They're your declaration of independence from a system that tried to convince you that you weren't smart enough, that you are not capable of becoming a genius. That's not a very nice thing to do. You were always smart enough. You just needed someone to tell you the truth. Get out of the GPA IQ test slipstream. That will only drag you down. Fearlessly climb above it and declare that a genius is just a healthy, normal human being. Your mastery of language is proof of that. Ultimately, to grow up means to grow all the way up, not part way. To grow all the way up means to become a great being. Now let me show you something. When you are ready, when you are rested, you can now picture those brackets in your mind. Key, colon, value in quotes, square brackets, big mystery. Container brackets holding your data, your mapped reality. Function brackets holding your instructions, your transformations of data. Two different uses, one symbol, infinite possibility. AI waiting to answer your questions. That's programming. That's power. That's yours now. It's gonna be like that every day from now on. Each time you learn, you will learn for real. It stays with you for life. Because it's precious. Because it makes you powerful. Because it's fun. Programming is the greatest board game ever invented. And it allows you to bring back old games, create virtual worlds, create efficient AI that no one has yet figured out how to do correctly. Expert systems. And then, just when you think you've mastered programming, you can turn right around and use it to simulate biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics, anything you can imagine. Programming then becomes a microscope. You can get to things as close as it is possible in your imagination. You can build a new type of cell. You can rewind the DNA, optimize it to hold only the useful instructions. You can simulate a universe. You can build a text adventure game with an AI inside it, and instruct the AI to build the world inside out. And generate some images too, so that you can enjoy looking at it. Learning programming makes you infinite.